know what's been going on in the world because we haven't been filming our own show. Like, I don't even watch the
No, I feel
news
like
in general. Like I literally don't even know what's going on. I get all my, I haven't really been on social media much either, but I've been getting my typical, my shorts and my modern wisdom, but my feed is not like, hey, today in Iraq. Like, I save that for the pod and kind of feel naked.
so. Ryan, what you're saying is you get all of your information from me.
Well, me, David, of course, I'm the apparatus of all information ever conglomerated in one human being. I just use you and the computer to bring it out, of
But you
course.
can't get it from yourself because when we don't do the show, you said you don't have information.
I'm informationless, David,
So
because
you
I'm
get the
so committed to
information
this.
from me,
I
Ryan.
believe so
All
much. Yeah, Dave.
information runs through me.
Imagine that, Dave. I believe in the product so well.
I am the Ministry of Truth.
Look at me. I am December 1773 now.
Ryan, are you ready for the show? It's our first show in a while.
Let's go, dude. How was vacant? You loose? Like, what do you?
Yeah,
fucking.
We're good. Ryan,
Right.
Candace Owens. We're gonna do a Candace clip. It's been a couple of weeks, right? A few weeks, few weeks. When was the last time we filmed? Month? 2 months? 6 months ago?
Before World War III.
That was years ago, Ryan. Candace Owens said potentially peace talks were delayed because of her reporting on
Jews.
The French president's husband, wife. So we'll get into that. Yeah, we'll get into that. I'm not so sure, but we'll at least hear it from the Owens mouth. NYC communes, Ryan. Do we already have government? New York City government-owned grocery stores. Maybe we'll have communes too. We'll talk about it. RFK says the CDC covered up a report that could potentially link certain things to vaccines, Ryan. We'll talk about it. Eve found and shared to our group. I found the New York Post article of it about AI, and it's AI's priorities. So we're going to talk about that as well.
Yeah, remember that, Eve, when you're building that AI, every time you select that video game choice of yours that I'll never forgive you for.
I love AI.
Yeah, Dave told me you sided with them fucking robots.
Oh, I did. When we played
they're so much better than people.
Also, Ryan, we're going to talk about a robust middle class per your request. As always, Ryan, in case you have forgotten, I give you the list. You tell me the order. What are we doing first here?
Considering Candace Owens fucking everything up, let's fuck Candace Owens up, you know?
Oh, I don't... You might rephrase that.
I love this show, you know? See, Dave?
Oh,
believe in a product so much, David.
Whoa, I forgot so much. I forgot so much, though. Are you sure? Because there was an FBI report. It has to do with Albany and Chinese stealing the election. It's fine. We'll do Candace Owens.
What? You didn't say anything about election?
Yeah, I forgot. It's been
what?
It's been 6 months since I did the show, Ryan. I forgot.
How pissed do you want to get, dude? 3 minutes. I'm mad already. Fucking run, Candace Owens.
Are you sure, Ryan?
Hold on.
Sure. You don't want FBI.
Is the Candace Owens clips like
Ryan? It's been so long. I have to. Watch yourself. Ryan, Truth Social. Because I like to think this show is kind of like the Truth Social of podcasts, Ryan. If you're looking for a great place for online news, which Ryan misses when we don't do the show, discussion, which he also misses, and entertainment, which he also misses, check out Trump's Truth Social, Ryan. It's Donald Trump's social media website. You'll get breaking news stories and commentary from top media figures if you want to see Trump's legendary Truth Social posts. Get to Truth Social today. Join a growing community of patriots, a free speech platform designed to avoid censorship and cancellation by big tech. Make your voices heard peacefully and patriotically. Join the movement. Join Truth Social, Ryan. I feel like it's just been a little while. I just had a Don Jr. plugs his book. We plugged Truth Social. It's even. It's even. Candace Owens, Ryan.
If it's even, why isn't the barcode not horizontal across both our faces?
Well, it's just, I think most people are right-handed, so if you put it on the right side of the screen, it just makes more sense, I think.
Right hand of the father. You're sinking the ship on the right hand of the father right now.
I just think it's easier for QR codes to be on the right. It's happenstance, you know? If I was on the right, I'd probably do the same thing.
You're lucky I love you, dude.
Ryan, this is Candace Owens saying that Russia-Ukraine peace talks may have been prevented because of her reporting on French president's husband-wife.
When I call that
Can we
person
pause
back,
it quick?
is
I
even stranger.
I literally just started it, Ryan, but I'll do anything. That's fine.
It's been 2 weeks, David. I gotta clearly be obnoxious first. What's up with tumblers? I'm over it. The straw cups. Everybody's advertising their shit on a fucking stainless steel fucking mug. Dave, don't you
You
dare
know what
pull
you
your
need?
mug out.
You know what you need?
Don't you dare.
A plastic water bottle
Hey, you
full
have a
of
tumbler?
Dude, what the
microplastic
fuck?
spoons in our brains. Oh, I dropped.
I'm drinking the wax coffee.
He has one.
It's just,
that
you know,
has the freaking design on it.
I just love the idea that everybody does the same shit. It's just crazy. It's everybody's got the mug. She's literally, she hates Ben Shapiro, but looks just like him. Look, got the armoire in the back.
No. Oh,
Look
I
at
thought you meant she looks
David,
like Ben
look.
Shapiro. I was like, give
No,
her
look
some
at it.
credit, Brian.
What's different? What's fucking different here?
Well,
She
I thought
hates
you meant
standing
her
wire, but takes the
personally.
whole
She's
thing and models
quite
her show
different
after
looking.
it. She's got the liberal tear vessel joke dork thing Shapiro had. Come on with the fucking purple straw for moms.
She's a
Everybody
mom,
does
right?
the same shit. It's bothering me. The shit's bothering. At what point do you know you're just programmed to do the same thing as your next door neighbor? I'm sorry. It's whatever. I know it's just a silly cup, but
Right. I
I'm
feel
just
like the
over it.
show. I feel like the clip is bigger than this.
Whatever. I'm sorry, David. Fucking stupid.
They say, look, I again am the messenger here. What I was told from somebody that's pretty high up at the White House is that Emmanuel Macron is holding up negotiations to end the Russian and Ukrainian war unless you stop speaking about his wife. And I'm just going, what? What are you saying? What are we even speaking about? What do you mean negotiations between Russia and Ukraine? I'm just like, looking into a story at my house. I've got a very small team here, and you're telling me that somehow negotiations are being held up and it needs to be communicated to me. They got to stop talking about Brigitte. What are we saying? And then I'm asking myself in my mind, because I hang up this phone, I am in true shock. Did Emmanuel Macron pretend to fly into DC under the guise of negotiations, the Russia and Ukraine war, and then instruct someone on his entourage to have an off the books discussion, a little meeting on the side, maybe somebody again, like a Susie Wiles, where he made his truer demands? Like, hey, this is for the pictures. Me and Trump, we're talking about you. We're going to get it done. And then what really goes on behind the scenes is like, we're not doing anything until that little podcaster, Candace, agrees to shut her mouth. What? This is crazy. This is absolutely insane. Okay.
Right.
Is it insane that they taxed Alex Jones, made him find more GDP than countries? Candace Owens, is that crazy? Because I remember you and Shapiro, the whole rap of you guys. It's insane to me. The whole rap. Do you know, like, one of the main stints of Alex, David? It was always that he was the canary in the coal mine. He said, whatever they'll do to me, they'll do to all the people. That's why they don't speak out, because they're gonna get sued and blah. Yeah, boom. GDP a country. But you guys all sound the same. Alex said the same shit one time. They listen to this program and they know that I got the intel inside and I get leaks all the time and I'm dead accurate with my analysis. I heard Alex for years say stuff and then it's like 10 years out, right? It just takes forever. But if they'll censor you and I on the internet just with their mass algorithm, what are they doing to people that really get to ask questions? I mean, if she's really all this independent, this is the first time these people have to deal with independent. You know what I mean? Like, has this level of reach been possible before by an independent creator in human history that can
No,
ask
this
questions?
is all fairly new territory at this point.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're stomping on really. So, not that I necessarily believe it, but yeah, dude. I mean, by extension, Joe Rogan got Trump elected, right? That's at least the running narrative.
Here's the thing I don't like. So people in like our space, Ryan, are just blatantly pushing this to the side as like conspiracy, basically, which is crazy to me because like, come on, we've had it happen. Like everyone on this side of the aisle, right, has had it happen to us, right? And now
You mean
when
like
it,
the shutdown or censoring or something? You mean?
yeah, to some degree, right? To some degree or the other, we all agree that media was controlled for years by government. Now that we have independent media, and Candace Owens comes out and says that that potentially peace deals between Russia and Ukraine were stalled by the French president because of her reporting on his husband wife. It's kind of crazy to me that we just brush it off as a conspiracy. Like, oh, Candace Owens is crazy. She's just looking for clout, Ryan. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe Candace Owens just feels like she'll get a bigger audience if she pushes a conspiracy.
Oh, she'll
I
get
don't
an audience.
like
She's
how
gonna
can
get.
you be so blissfully unaware on our side in our space when what have we been talking about for the last 10 years? Like this is everything. And when the story
Why is
comes
the
out,
First Amendment the
we're just
first one,
pushing it.
right, Dave?
We're just pushing it aside like, oh, there's no way this is possible. Really? Like what have you been unaware of everything around you? I'm not saying I necessarily think I don't know. I don't know Candace Owens personally, obviously. 100% could go either way on this. I'd believe it 100%, or maybe she's making it up. I don't know. Either way, I don't think she
Dave,
has
if we
anything.
interfered in a foreign election, cover quote unquote, I know it's a joke, but that's what they told us. Come on,
Yeah,
just use
YouTube
logic.
pulled one of our videos because we interfered in a foreign election. That was their wording, that we were interfering in foreign elections for New Zealand specifically. Weirdly, that's what I'm saying. Like we've even at our size have seen this happen to some degree or the other. So like, is it crazy for someone with a podcast the size of Candace Owens with that size of reach, that audience size, that this story is completely unbelievable? Like I just can't believe people on the right are just brushing this off. I don't know if she's telling the truth or not. It's not even that matters. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but it's not even about that. It's about the fact that we act like this is completely impossible when it's happened over and over and over and over again consistently. We've been constantly doing the right thing and pointing it out, and now it's unbelievable. Why?
Well, once again, Alex Jones was fine GDP of countries, but you were okay with that because of dead kids, right? But now we're talking about tranny president wives,
Well,
and
that was
we're not
fine, Ryan,
supposed to.
because he got the story wrong.
Story wrong. Maybe Candace Owens is right, David.
Let's not forget, though, Bernie Sanders on Joe Rogan's program. Oh, shouldn't be able to sue the media. Okay, well, Alex Jones, anybody? I'm sure Bernie Sanders was all for the Alex Jones lawsuit. And now that Trump is suing NBC, just because they got it wrong, it's not about that. It's about lying,
It's
Bernie.
intentional misrepresentation. Yeah. It's called. It's called.
That's the difference. I feel like that matters.
Well, here's the thing, David. Back to the Candace Owens things. The reason the First Amendment exists, and the reason that it's the First Amendment, is because it's the most important. Okay, people, you don't understand how lucky we are to actually have freedom of speech in this country, let alone like a freedom of speech that we can talk on the internet openly. The idea of freedom of speech is that you can directly influence geopolitical events. Your freedom of speech is protected for governmental purposes. Redress of grievance is also in there. People who don't know this
Separately.
podcast, I've said it separate. I've said it 100 times.
But separate.
This is not just freedom of speech, people. This podcast is redress of my grievance because I know you're lying bastards, and I know you've been lying.
Just to be clear, and it's so minor, but it's important that they paid attention to these details. The founders, when they wrote the Constitution, acknowledged that your creator, God, gave you certain rights, okay? And the Constitution acknowledges the rights and then prevents the government from stepping on those rights. And the First Amendment is speech. But then separately, even though it's also speech, they went out of their way to say, including redressing your government of its grievances, because they knew what was going to happen.
Right to free speech, right to of religion.
press. Yeah, it's all separate.
The press. This is the press. You can't.
Peacefully
This
assembled.
is media.
All separate, specifically.
Yeah. This podcast is all three. That's why when YouTube attacks, it's not hyperbole. Like what they'll do to Candace Owens, they'll do to you. Well, what they'll do to us, they'll do to Candace Owens. Candace Owens is dictate. I guarantee you, Candace Owens' podcast did not help in the Russia-Ukraine negotiations, David. If we're all access to the same information, do you think fucking Vladimir Putin, the super spy, didn't go in there with a tranny joke under his sleeve? Serious question. Even if it's not real.
Okay, first of all, can we talk about that? If that actually happened, that's pretty fucking funny. Do you imagine sitting down for a peace talk and Putin's like, "What about your male wife?"
He puts a
Just
strap
like
on the
blue,
table
like-
or something.
French president's all pissed off. Sorry, man.
I'd like to speak to the man of the house.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if Candace Owens is
I don't want to beat it either, David.
I just don't think it's crazy that it could happen.
It's the First Amendment for a reason. It's the most important. The reason they go for it first is because it's the most important. It changes the most people without violence, which is the Second Amendment. The first, she's right. She's fucking right. It happened. Just deal with it. I believe it. Sorry. Call me a conspiracy theorist, David, like you said. Trump goes on Rogan, and Rogan helps him win the election, right? Candace Owens talks about a tranny wife during peace deal negotiations, and it's not influencing foreign affairs. I have a problem with that. There's no consistency. I know there's no consistency. The problem is it's to brainwash everybody. The First Amendment is the most powerful. They'll attack anybody that step in their way. And you know what? This is just proof of how strong your voice actually is. Good job, Candace Owens. Appreciate you.
Well, let's not forget too. Like we didn't cover a story 6 months ago that the United Kingdom was going to bring about tribunals for people who United States citizens were a part of this. United States citizens using free speech on an open and fair platform, and the United Kingdom said, "We're coming for you. Good luck."
Yeah, I don't know. They go after them
simultaneously. People on the right are like, "Well, there's no way this is true." All right, fine. Don't believe it. I don't even care if people ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. They don't have to believe it for it to be true, and it is true because who's really the people on the right? Who are we talking about? Like Joe Rogan, like Ben Shapiro? I'm going to trust Ben Shapiro. I'm going to trust
a big umbrella. Ryan.
What?
The right's a big umbrella.
The right that term don't even exist anymore. Dude, we're in soon we're gonna have political parties around fucking influencers.
Well, here's the thing with
we're out of this left right bullshit. Where you have authoritarian and libertarian. That's it. Orwell said it.
Here's the thing. Because it was left and right, and then they turned it to the Foursquare thing. Because they pretended that it's different. It's not. I'm sorry, it's not. Right is libertarian, left is authoritarian. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. If you could honestly point to me a historical example, I'll concede completely. If you can provide a historical example of someone who is left-leaning socially but libertarian, I'll concede completely. They don't exist. That's not real.
Yeah, you think that square is just like the intellectualization of the ideal. This isn't possible.
I believe we should seize the means of production, but not with the government. Okay, all right. Good luck.
Privatize the means of production.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
you mean capitalism? That's capitalism. You know what that is? That's the right. What ridiculous. And here's the thing with the left-right thing, because it's always seen through the lens of the person presenting if it's left or right, right? So there's people who are on the right that are to the left of me, and there's people on the right or could potentially be to the right of me, but we're still in the umbrella of the right? So like Ben Shapiro, definitely to the left of me, but he's still in the right. He's right of what? He's right of Bernie Sanders, sure. It's all comparative and contextual, I guess.
Yeah, the left right thing's awesome because there's no end to the left or right. So you're like, oh, the far right. Like, oh, cool, the far right. Like, how far is the far right? It's not like
How
it's
far?
fucking
How
1
far
to
are we
10.
talking here?
We're 7. Where on Stephen Hawking and Donald Trump are you on the right, David?
That's the new scale. That's how AI defines left and right dynamics. Stephen Hawking, Donald Trump.
I'm gonna ask ChatGPT what it thinks I am. Like dissect my.
Well, I can tell you every time I do one of those little tests, I'm always pretty far to the right and pretty far down. And if you're looking at the Foursquare thing, I'm fairly libertarian, pretty far to the right, consistently on every single one of those I've ever done. Ryan, there was a report that came out that the FBI headquarters, the main FBI, interfered with Albany, New York's investigation into alleged Chinese 2020 election interference. And the thing that's interesting is in
You mean,
the report,
David, the same government office that had Chinese spies, like that New York State government?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, just double checking.
In the report, it states that a new 1023 will be needed that will have updated date of acquisition and contact with an updated source context statement, and it will have to run the gamut at HQ for review and approval. So it's basically in this report. This was specifically for interference in the 2020 election, but any report that came out of Albany before release had to go to HQ, aka the main FBI headquarters. And then they would be the gatekeepers of the information, Ryan. Oh, Albany,
Clearly.
you cracked it. Yeah, there was 2020 election interference. That's why don't you send it to us? We'll determine if it was.
Will it go in that little black secret little file that they got, David, that you can't even look up with words?
Yes, the secret file that not everybody at the FBI has access to. There's levels to this, Ryan. You could be at the FBI and you still don't see shit.
Here's your computer. There's only like 10 emails on there. You get the same 10 emails, but really there's a million
crazy?
fucking on there you can't see because it's invisible fucking to you.
You know what's crazy about that? How many people worked at the FBI and thought they knew everything because they were at the FBI?
All of them, David.
And they have like
all the
same information we have. Oh, I'm in the FBI. Yeah, do you get access to all those secret invisible files? What are you talking about? Yeah, that's what I thought.
And this, David, your exact thought shows Tucker Carlson how he was able to be in the bubble. Because none of them think outside the box, be like, maybe they're fucking lying to me. They're just like, yeah, we just did, intelligence. And yeah, I would wager, David, if I had a guess, considering we could call World War III from our fucking living room, 95% of the government probably doesn't actually know what they're doing. It's with the secret shit. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I bet you it's at your local level, David. I bet you there's some classified secret file at your local township that certain people don't have access to. And I'm not just talking like, I'm talking like real IT shit.
Ryan, people on the internet, and people in general, I think too, they're not always the most logical people, Ryan.
Me included, David.
RFK Jr. says that the CDC covered up an internal study which found I thought this was a typo, so I checked other metrics on this. Because I just thought there was an extra one added. RFK Jr. says the CDC covered up an internal study which found an 1,135% increase in autism risk from hepatitis B vaccines. The best part about these posts, I went through several of them, 1,135%.
1135.
So 100%. Just to make this easy, 100% is doubling. Okay,
that's 100ing, right? Like 100 times more likely.
And 1,100% is doubling. Might have missed a doubling or two.
It's only a couple doubles. It's only parts per million, Dave. Multiplications per million.
The thing is, on several of these posts on X, for people who don't know this, you can ask Grok in a comment. You can like tag Grok and it would respond to you. So many people at Grok and asked for a fact check. And Grok's answer is, well, there's no credible evidence to support what RFK is talking about. Duh. That's what a fucking cover-up is.
That's what a
RFK
secret
Jr. is
file is?
saying that's the definition of a cover-up. So I don't know what the point of asking Grok is. RFK says the CDC covered up an internal study that found an 1,135% increase. Okay. Hey, Grok, can you find that internal study that was covered up? No, of course it can't. That's what a cover-up is. People don't have logic.
Why ask Grok, David, when you can go ask the people at the fucking CDC why they're lying assholes, huh? Oh, as my electric car can't get there on one tank of charge, huh, David? That's weird. That's weird, David. It's weird they're all so far away from us, ain't it?
You could FOIA request the shit out of this. They're not going to send it to you. I promise you.
You got to punch these people at some point. We have to.
But here's what gets difficult, okay? And it's where it's very tricky because a couple of things. One, if RFK Jr. is telling the truth, and there was a CDC report that was covered up, there's no way to prove it because it was covered up, right? Because a lot of people, naturally and rightfully so, would want provable, presentable evidence. Well, I can't provide that to you because it is, again, definition of a cover-up. The information isn't available. So,
meaning they destroyed it, deleted it, killed people,
put it in a big secret invisible umbrella. Yeah.
lied, printed media, made books, wrote articles, faked scientific studies.
So naturally, right, you're going to want the evidence, but I can't provide it for you. That's fair. If he's lying, it's easy to brush off. But if he's telling the truth, it's hard to accept. And I think that's partly why it's very tricky being in this little realm of conspiracies and factoids, because the thing you said earlier about Alex Jones, you had to wait 10 years for everything he's been talking about forever to finally, my favorite phrase, turn out to be true. Okay. And I don't know. 10 years from now, do we finally see the CDC released report that turned out to be true? All these CIA operations that always come out. Operation Northwood.
And everybody's got autism,
Ajax.
so you can't do anything. They gave you autism and too much microplastic by then to fucking fight back. Don't you see? You think Bill Gates and all them are eating the microplastic meat, people? Come on.
Well,
You
he's
don't
got a
think
lot of
that
farmland.
fucking-
He's a big fan of. He's a farmer, Bill Gates.
Yeah, giant farmer. I wonder why. You don't think that, like, I don't know, those houses they have that go underground connect to that underground city that nobody wants to believe that's real either? The Earth probably is flat, David, and we see it through a curved lens because our eyeball is curved water. Everything we see is curved, David.
Vaccine, according to RFK Jr., was the Hep B vaccine. My cast. Do you want to talk about communes, Ryan? Communes are cool, right? Aren't communes cool, or are they not cool?
David, before we get to communes, I'm just going to say, round this out one more time for everybody at home, because I've been the largest component of speaking out against our poisoned air, water, and food supply that I know personally. Even if it's not the vaccines, tell me how much microplastic till I get autism, or my kid's mentally retarded, or can't run, or can't spell, or is dyslexic, or brings out those things in my genes already that make all those autoimmune disease and kids' cancers and all that. Where do you think kids are getting cancer from if they're eating plastic? It's not like I told this to somebody earlier. It's not even like a McDonald's thing anymore, people. Like, literally. McDonald's plastic bullshit comes in the same bullshit that you get at Tops. You have to own a farm. Dave has to own chickens to get not fucked with egg. Like, fucking think about that, dude. I know we all got jobs. That's the whole point about telling people 10 fucking years ago, Dave, that, hey, man, look into, like, what our food is. No one gave a shit. Now everything's low sugar. It's fake sugar. Buy organic, it's
Cancer sugar.
poisoned in a plastic bag. Triple filtered water in a plastic bottle. The glass has the microplastic, David. I gotta own a private fucking spring to have real water. That's come from a glacier or some shit. That's why they live in Switzerland. I gotta argue the civilian unrest, Scott Calloway. We'll get to him later. We might really be fighting. I feel like we live in different worlds. Mike, it's great that you're gonna look it up, but fucking think about it. Just think about it. Everybody's fat. Come on. Just fucking think about it. Doesn't bother you. It don't bother. Everybody's dying early in front of you. Come on, man. What are you looking up? What do we got to look up anymore? I've been shooting, Dave and I have shot this for 5 fucking years. We said this 5 fucking years ago. 5 years. I was driving in my car in 2016. The same thing. What are we looking up? I have to keep waiting. I have to wait for your verification that they're murdering us. This is Crazyville. They stole your election in the state you live. But Trump's the bad guy? I don't know what to do about it. That's the point of talking about it. We're trying to look it up. What are we looking up? Look the fuck around, Dave. Dave said it during the election. Use your senses. Man, everybody's sick. Do you know that me and my father are like the only people not on prescription medication for an ailment in my family? No, nobody thinks that's a problem. Humanity lasted 1 million years, David, without one pharmaceutical drug. People only lived to 35. There was 80-year-old people 800 years ago. What is wrong with you? There's monks in fucking China that are like 150. Because they ate the vegan. They don't eat the meat, right? That's what they tell you. We eat only rice bean. Fine, but they're still 150 years old. What was that 300 years ago when the earth wasn't fucking plastic? You breathe plastic. Come on, what are we looking up? They covered up the plastic air. You're not going to find the data. It's fucking scoop the air. Go get a microscope. You're better off buying a microscope and getting the fucking hepatitis vaccine and looking at the thing under a fucking microscope on what it would do to a human cell. Why are you believing no liars? 5 years, Dave and I have talked about the same thing. Sorry to rant, but it's a little frustrating. What are we looking up? That guy, RFK, was damaged by vaccines. Chris Cuomo, damaged by the COVID vaccine. He has long COVID. That was a fucking conspiracy. Dude, you're brainwashed. What are you looking up? I love you. I want humans to thrive. We're getting replaced by fucking robots. I'll just be a plumber and electrician. The AI doesn't need shit, water, and electricity when they can choose the other thing. Things gonna run on like quantum mechanics and you're fucking thinking it's gonna need electricity. That's my joke about unplugging it, right, Dave? We gotta fucking blow the sun up to kill AI. That was in a fucking video game, I think, David, or some movie. They had to fucking destroy the sun to destroy the robot that was taking over. Crazy. Sorry, Dave. I'm fucking ranting.
I don't know what movie that was.
Oh, that was in a movie. I'm not the only one to think of that.
The perfect point, though, Ryan, is that just like I was saying, you got to wait 10 years, wait for the facts, as I believe Ben Shapiro said. And that's fine. You can wait for the facts if you want, but you're gonna miss the boat. It's not even close.
No, the comment. Nice job, Ryan. Now he's looking it up.
Oh,
What?
for what it's worth, Mike didn't say he was looking it up. He just was looking for clarification on what the headline was.
I know. I didn't mean to like.
But now he
Mike
says,
or
"Well, I am looking it up."
This is people's fucking thinking, dude. Like, fuck, dude.
Leaves the room, leaves the door open. Now the attack dogs are noisy in the background.
Dave's getting SWAT team for speaking
her
truth.
production skills. She doesn't handle the computer. She opens the door, allows noise.
Dogs, because you're on the list, man.
Well, we got the worst attack dogs
Who
ever.
else is gonna protect us?
Worst attack dogs ever. The one fucking dog has anxiety or something, probably. Knox.
Just shakes.
Fucking moron. The one's literally retarded. So we have one that's retarded, one that has anxiety. One's a wiener dog. He's cool, but he's still a wiener dog. The other dog's 1,000 years old. He's in the room with us, but you don't know because he's half dead. Communes, Ryan. Communes.
He exhales dust, dude.
He's actually more than half. He's like 94% dead.
He's gonna be 16 in July.
Communes, Ryan.
I had a friend whose dog lived to 21. They went and bought her a beer and a lottery ticket. It's fucking
I really
Pack
hope
of
he
cigarettes.
lives to 21. I'm gonna be a
Might have been
further.
18. Is
For
this the same
refresher-
NYC dork, dude?
Yeah.
Is this the dude?
Yeah,
shave your
Zahari
beard, huh?
Mohammed Hamaji, or whatever the fuck his name was.
Yeah,
This
just
was
shave
the
the beard,
same
buddy.
guy that wanted New York City grocery stores so they could not charge themselves property tax and make food less expensive, which of course they could just not charge property tax to private grocery stores. This is him talking about communes, Ryan, which are super cool.
Toward the Vienna model, we'll have to go beyond the market. We can establish community land trusts to gradually buy up housing on the private market and convert it to community ownership.
For the record,
Holy fuck, dude.
hold on,
Holy
yeah, it keeps going. For the record, how long ago did I say the reason people like Grant Cardone, who I think is on the right side of history, but other people like BlackRock are buying up housing and stuff, is because houses are an appreciating asset and they're limited. Now, in theory, you can build more houses, but eventually you can't keep building houses. So what's the best thing you can do? You can buy up all the housing, make the housing market ridiculously expensive, so an entire generation of people can't own a house, and then they complain and blame other people, whatever. And then what do they have to do? They have to rent. They have to live in 15-minute cities. It's all a part of a plan. We're going to keep going on communes.
It's called Agenda 21, David.
We can give tenants a right of first refusal to buy out their landlords when buildings go up for sale. And we can fully commit to a new era of social housing, ending subsidies for luxury housing development and using our wealth to build beautiful, high-quality social housing projects that offer good homes and strong communities to everyone. We won't decommodify housing overnight, but we know what we have to do, and we have history to guide us. Go further.
History to guide us. Go look at what the Soviet Union did, asshole. And then talk to me about history. You want me to grant you unilateral power to buy up housing from, you said from private people to make it public, and then you said our money, but you are the one deciding. That's your money, not our money, first of all. Second of all, it's literally communism. Okay? It's been said for years, New York State is a communist, Rant state, all this, and oh no, it's just democratic socialism, right? It was the rebrand for Bernie. This is they're actually running communists in your community. You're not going to be able to afford to move. You're going to have to do this. Like, our money, what the fuck does our money even mean? Technically,
Our money, Ryan.
What does that even mean? People familiar with the matter? Turned out to be true?
Turned out to be true is probably one of my favorites.
Our money? The government's not a person. The government's supposed to be smaller than the people, not the other way around.
Study came up in 1999 that there was a 64% increase in males with autism compared to ones that didn't get the vaccine. Yeah. I guess the point is this 1,135% number. If you're looking to fact check something that was covered up, good luck. I don't know, get invisible super secret access in the federal government. Good luck with that. Ryan, a robust middle class. You sent me this clip. I think this is kind of related to communes.
Yeah, I like Scott Calloway. He has talked about the minimum wage, David, in a way. You ever hear the argument about how it should be tied to the means of production, right? And that if you look at the production, minimum wage should be higher and etc. His point is he's really big on trying to bolster a middle class. I know there's no real right way to get there. This guy is a high level. He like was in like stock brokerage firms and Ivy League schools, and not that I care about all these accolades. My point is this guy's been like a high functioning person, and he probably understood. Like Dr. Mike Tremont, that guy worked for banks. Like he understood how money worked more than the average person. So like when he talks, I actually kind of listen to him. You know, he's basically like to have this guy as like a real economist, not just some guy paid by Fox News. This guy is running his own thought. He's a married guy with kids. Like it's pretty cool. So check him out, everybody. Mike, you might actually really like Scott Calloway on a lot of things. He's very cool. The beginning, this is my favorite quote, though.
It's a question. What is America? My kind of economic role model is Peter Drucker. I think an economy in America exists to create a robust middle class. The most ascending countries over the last 20 years have been China and India. And it's one basic litmus test. How many people are you bringing into the middle class? The greatest innovation in history is not the iPhone or the semiconductor. It's the American middle class that beat back fascism in the middle of World War II, has financed and built the greatest innovations, whether it's radar, whether it's the internet, whether it's vaccines. The middle class in America is the greatest innovation in history. And people like to fall back into this right-wing notion that it's naturally self-healing. It's not. It's an accident in history. Typically throughout history, you have a small number of people who weaponize government. They're very talented. They aggregate power. They weaponize government, and they aggregate more and more spoils. And then the good news is it's self-correcting. This level of income inequality is usually self-correcting. The bad news is the means of self-correction are typically war, famine, or revolution. And if you want to talk about tax policy, the myth in tax policy is that the rich don't pay their taxes. That's just not true. The fulcrum is the following. There's super earners and super owners. The folks around your table are probably considered super earners. You make exceptional livings, but it's all current income reported on a W-2. And if you live in New Jersey or New York, you're probably paying 48 to 52% tax rates. Right. But if you're a super owner, I make my living starting and selling businesses. My last business, which was sold for $160 million, I'm very transparent about money. This gestalt or zeitgeist that people should not talk about money is nothing but an attempt to keep poor people down, because rich people talk about money all the time. It's important to be financially literate. The first $10 million for my $160 million sale was tax-free. My effective tax rate over the last 10 years has been 17%. The average tax rate on the wealthiest 25 Americans is 6%. Corporate tax rates are at their lowest point since 1939. At the same time, taxes have gone up for the super owners. Now, the bottom 50% don't pay much federal income tax, but they pay a lot in usage and consumption taxes. But this misdirect talking about tax rates misses the point. It's the tax code, which has gone from 400 pages to 4,000. And that 3,600 pages, quite frankly, is there to screw the middle class and continue to transfer more money to the super wealthy. The fastest growing demographic group in America is not seniors. It's not Latins. It's billionaires. We had 500 billionaires 10 years ago. We now have 2,500. So if you want to cram more and more wealth into a smaller group of people, we're on our way. And the weird thing about America is that we support it because our superpower is our optimism. The Achilles heel is that 99%, the bottom 99% who are getting screwed, don't mind these policies because they believe at some point they're going to be in that 1%. But where are we? We're in a country that's had unprecedented prosperity, but similar to the way William Gibson described the future, it has not been evenly distributed. When 40% of U.S. households are struggling with some sort of medical or dental debt, when a quarter or 20% of households with kids are food insecure, and yet we have one man, Jensen Huang, and I like Jensen, who is now worth more than Boeing. I mean, something is wrong here. And just let me go to the psychology of happiness. I think a lot about happiness because I struggle with it, Joe. You effectively, once you get above a certain level of wealth, you get no incremental happiness. So why on earth would you not go back to a tax policy of the 60s, 70s, and 80s where say above, pick a big number, 10 million, you actually pay more than 10%, maybe more than 20%, maybe more than 50%, because the difference between 30,000 a year for a household and 50,000 is enormous to the well-being of that household. Low-income kids in low-income households have higher resting blood pressure, but the difference between making 10 million a year and 15 million a year offers you no happiness. But these individuals have weaponized government, and we risk revolution, whether it's CEOs being murdered in the street, whether it's a Me Too movement that had righteous components of it, or Black Lives Matter. What are these movements? They are targeting the wealthy. We are in the midst of a series of small revolutions to correct income inequality. And the reason we put an insurrectionist and a rapist in office is because for the first time in our nation's history, a 30-year-old man or woman isn't doing as well as his or her parents were at 30. Why? Because the majority of households are having the oxygen sucked out of the room, such that a small number of individuals and a small number of companies can be worth more than nation states. Income inequality is out of control. Our tax policy has gone full oligarch.
There's a lot there. that was very lengthy. That's quite a bit. Here's the thing. Where the fuck do you even start on that, Ryan?
He broke down. Why do you think that was? You heard, like, he kind of choked up when he was talking about it, because I think he was thinking about all those people barely fucking getting by.
Here's the thing, though. I
that are worth more than countries.
I do
money.
to some degree agree with some of the things he's saying, and some of it I think is off base. And that's not that he's necessarily wrong with the facts, but I think a lot like Bernie Sanders is very good at diagnosing the problem and then running to the wrong answer. There's a couple things here. One, he talks about the fact that there's more billionaires now than ever, and that's 100% true. But the thing about our society is that does not necessarily mean there are more poor people now than ever. And that's kind of that's the unique thing with capitalism, right? Where you have income inequality, but it's not to say there's not poor and homeless people, obviously there are, but it's not like class systems, for example. There is the mobility, there is the opportunity to move up. Everyone has, people don't agree with this at all, and that's fine, but everyone has the same opportunities. 100%. It's all about what are you doing with them. And yeah, there's income inequality. Yeah, there's lots of billionaires, but our poor people are better off than kings were centuries ago, Ryan. We've talked about that on the show.
That is true, but if I was a rich king or a poor first world country, I'd probably pick a ancient king. I don't know, David. It's interesting because well,
no way.
My point in saying that is, like, the difference between a peasant and a king's life is closer than our life and Trump's life.
There is more to it than money too, and I get that, but
I don't think there's a class system necessarily, David, but I do think the life is bracketed. You know, kind of like what Scott Calloway. Basically, the goal. This happens to everybody that makes money, right? At a certain level, they always say the job's unfulfilling, and then they go like fucking wash dishes or something because they get more meaning out of it, right? But it's like after that 80 to 100 grand that he's talking about, that 60 to 80 or 90, whatever it is, depending on where you live.
Well, he used the numbers 30 to 50, which 100%. But truthfully, yeah. I mean, you go from 30 to 50, that seems like a big deal. You go from 50 to 70, it kind of seems like a big deal.
But after that,
but the more you go up, the less it seems to matter. I mean, if you made 250,000, you got a raise, and you were making 300,000, like, yeah, it's more money. It's funny, it's the same $50,000, right? But like now, it just doesn't seem to matter. Like how much? Yeah, 50 a year. Sure, what am I doing with it?
Yeah, his $100 just becomes $1,000. It's just ratios after you get to a certain income. It's just like, oh, this is just like, you know, my $1,000 steak is when I used to eat $10 steak. I just have extra zeros. And that's what I guess I mean, because David, basically baked into my whole worldview about everything being rigged is that these people have manipulated the tax code to leverage it against economies and world governments. And I mean, effectively, what he's saying is a way to try to destroy that at a law level. I don't know if you're going to destroy that, but I agree there's oligarchs. We are favoring oligarchs. I do love billionaires. I'd rather have billionaires in America than fucking Dubai. I've said this before. But I mean, should Facebook have more money than countries? Should Apple have more money than countries? Liquid money. I don't know.
Well,
We've
they
never had.
don't have that kind of liquid money, though. Truthfully,
They've said
that's
some of them have liquid cash. Yeah, they've said it. That's their personal reportings. I've seen it.
I don't know.
But the point I'm just saying is
most billionaires and most high flying companies like Facebook don't have piles of liquid cash, and it doesn't even really matter if they have liquid cash or not, because you can always move assets and turn it into liquid cash if you have to.
But David, it all ties basically back into the same inheritance it goes hand in hand with that other video. These people are leveraging the tax policies to be super owners of the earth.
See, that's one of the things I agree with him on. I'm 100% for simplifying the code.
Yeah. Well, I'm literally saying that these billionaires, if they're writing the tax code to squeeze us dry, obviously it's to build the 15-minute cities. It's to promote communism in our country so that they can so 2,500 people own the world. I mean, that's the point of AI, is to replace you so that they actually don't have to provide anything for you, and they can get by with, like, I forget what those magic rocks said, David, in the middle of nowhere that blew up magically. I think those were just a conspiracy. I think that they said there was going to be a certain amount of people left. And that was it. And look, I know it sounds crazy and like all this stuff, but once again, with the Alex thing, Alex Jones, is he a prophet or just crazy when the guy predicted 9/11 live on camera? I've seen the Agenda 21 words. I've seen the actual documents. This commune 15-minute was in there 20 years ago. So it's not if, it's when. Scott Calloway, that guy is literally risking his life because he's telling you that these people are formulating the world to destroy you so that you never can prosper again. He's telling you that the idea of wealth in America, like the idea that you can do what you want, go on vacation and have a home, is rare, and it's at threat of losing it.
Here's the other thing that I don't love with this clip. And I find politicians doing this a lot too, but it almost is kind of like a tell that, and I'm not saying Scott Calloway necessarily. I don't really know the guy, but a lot of people want you to be middle class, and that's concerning to me. Because if you think about it, do
you think most people are comfortable there, though, David? If it goes back to psychology, I mean, the idea
that's what they want. But that's what they want. They don't want more billionaires. They want more middle class people. They want more, because you can't.
But inventions only happen in creative people, and creativity is not evenly distributed.
But I don't.
But inventions change humanity.
This is what I'm saying. Created by the middle class. I don't know if I buy that either.
Funding it, I know what he meant. Funding it.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, they wouldn't have been able to fund the Manhattan Project if they didn't have a tax base to draw from that made reasonable income or whatever the fuck. It makes sense. I mean, basically, by extension, they wouldn't be able to fucking fund the Iron Dome and murder children if there wasn't a middle class.
My point is this, though. A lot of really wealthy people want a lot of very controllable middle class people. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's a lot easier to control somebody with a $150,000 salary than it is to control somebody who's worth billions of dollars.
Yeah, the get fucked attitude changed. Fuck you. The point of fuck you money is to say fuck you, right, Dave? Joe Rogan.
That was a great line. Perfect.
Nailed it. I don't think there's any more to say. But yeah, I agree with Scott Calloway. I just told my family this today. The idea that, like, it's not all about the money and stuff. Look, I understand that life is about happiness and having family. Look, I got that. But I can live a way better life with all of that shit if I have more money. Like, it's just fact, people. I'm not telling you to sell your kids for money. I'm not telling you to not see your family. Sometimes you got to grind or whatever the fuck it is. You got to build a business that you're not there 10 years. But then you sell it and you're good forever. Like, we're coming to a point that if you don't have millions in the bank, you might not be able to get steak that doesn't have plastic in it. And to your point, Dave, that's kind of like I want fucking money. I don't want plastic steak. I want real cows, dude. I want real fucking water. I want to own my house. I want to own the dirt that I live on. Like, what's wrong with that? You're just making it harder and harder systematically. I heard a good video, David. A woman said, out of all my great grandfathers and where'd all their stuff go? And I know what she meant, but I also realized that she didn't understand that people a generation ago lived on like a nickel a day or something. Like, people don't realize how much wealth you have now. And it's because we have so much wealth that it's easy for them to mask it in taxes, David. Like, that oligarchy thing is so fucking true. It's literally the premise of these secret societies and these freaks that control everything, is that they just operate outside of governments because of money or means. And it was always right. That was the other thing that we talk about, psychology of money, that after a certain level, your happiness doesn't change. There was always a conspiracy about people like, well, why would these rich, powerful people want to be in cults and control the world? It's like, well, when you have everything, like, what do you do with all that power? And then you see Diddy. Look at what that guy did with all his power. Not everybody's Caligula. I understand that. But everybody's got a shadow. Carl Jung talked about it. It's probably the most powerful psychological trope I've ever been introduced to, is introducing yourself to the darkest parts of yourself. And to be honest, it's terrifying. And no one figures it out. But the goal through your life is to integrate that shadow. Because if you don't, you're going to be having rape sex parties with fucking vats of baby oil because you're a sick fuck. So, I don't know. I think naturally power, like he said, power. I love that he gave like a quick history lesson just about like the only way that it gets fixed is revolution and all this stuff. And honestly, we're not going to see a revolution against the rich here, because it's the first. These people have airplanes. You know, I know they could set sail before, but they have literally airplanes. They could be in fucking Australia by the end of the day in an underground bunker with machine guns. Like, this is a different. This was the whole idea of like Patriots' wet dream is camping out in the woods and going to fight for your country like fucking Red Dawn. There's propaganda, if anything, now, because you got to beat them with the First Amendment. You got to beat the info war. Candace Owens showed the power of the voice. Joe Rogan's power of the voice. Dave Ryan, power of the voice. But that's the whole point, is like, if we can't beat them politically or vote them out or awaken each other, you know, the real point, David, to round this whole thing out, the real thing is to like not need money, really. It's the fucking like localize. We don't need government communes. We need our neighbors working together to just grow vegetables and trade it. You know, there's I forget there is like local communes, farmers markets set them up sometimes that you can all bring like a bushel or whatever you grow, and then everybody splits it, and then you all go home with mixed vegetables. You know, like that shit beats the government. You know, like that is literally the kryptonite of taking back control of these people, getting your plastic, drinking the water not out of plastic. And those are the small wins too. I joked about the plastic socks, you know, but I mean, I can't go broke, but why should I wear fucking recycled plastic bags on my feet? The thing I sweat through my lymph nodes, like, am I even going to enjoy my life that I'm working for? You're going to cut my fucking foot off? Because of sweat glands or some shit? They're going to be some rare disease outbreak. Yeah, because the fucking recycled plastic socks people wear for 20 years. The deodorant you put on that. Do you know, Dave, the one conspiracy I heard years ago about deodorant is that the gland that is most associated with breast cancer is the one you put deodorant on. There's literally silica in deodorant. It's like the most toxic thing to put in your body. That's where popcorn lung came from. It's in drywall. I learned about it in OSHA 10 training. It's in your deodorant. Aluminum oxide. Aluminum's in your deodorant, people. Now you see it everywhere. Free and clear, fucking native brand. But then what else is the other thing in there? It's in plastic. Bill Gates can afford it. The billionaires can afford it. I know we know this, but I like this guy.
That's why I appreciate, though, like people like Grant Cardone or even Andrew Tate was big for this, where they're running around telling everyone to get rich. I like that more than I like Dave Ramsey telling everyone to be an average middle class American,
everyday millionaire.
If you just save all your money forever, you could have $1 million. Okay, great. Who cares?
And what? Leave it to my kids so the $1 million is devalued by inflation while he leaves
Meanwhile-
everything that he owns to a trust to his children? Dave
But
Ramsey's a
think about the
billionaire.
goals- just think about the goal difference between Grant Cardone and Dave Ramsey. Grant Cardone's telling everyone to run around and buy hotels and be fucking multi-billionaire, right? Just gross, filthy
Have a
rich.
Lamborghini on your
And
list.
Dave Ramsey wants you to be a fucking firefighter and retire with $900,000 because it's the fucking noble thing to do. Says the guy worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Just
Dave
stop.
Ramsey's is a billionaire, but he's telling you to just be a millionaire. If you believe that, I got a bridge in Brooklyn, I'll sell you. Dave Ryan, December 17th, 73. Catch us on Rumble for the greatest podcast in human history. As always, David, I appreciate you most for your time. It's great to see you. How was everything? Good?
Yeah. I've been around, Ryan. Been around.
You're not going to get much more out of him than that.
We're gonna tomorrow. Tomorrow, it depends on if it's a slow news day. Slow news day? I feel like you get those every once in a while. If we do, we'll probably talk AI.
All right.
Maybe a little bit.
Until the AI variants of Dave and I. Dave Ryan, December 17th, 73. Catch us on Rumble. Greatest podcast ever. David, love you. I'll see you guys.
Hey,
Oh,
Bye, Eve.
Ryan, do you want me to tell you something that will make you probably cry? Because David is not emotional ever. We were talking about marriage, which we're never getting married, but I can't remember who was getting married, that we were talking about a wedding. And I was like, well, we don't really have any friends, so who would you have as your best man? You know who he said?
Did he say me?
He did.
Did
He said you, and I said, I'm going to tell Ryan and he's going to cry. He said, well, Ryan's like my best friend.
you guys are all fags.
Stop.
Well, David,
so sweet.
I would be honored to be your ceremonial best man in all avenues of life, especially fighting AI robots that fucking Eve sided with. You sided with the enemy. Dave Ryan, December 1773. Greatest shit ever. See you guys tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone.